Do you remember tailored blazers? And we had beautiful lapels that would tape the roll line, and we had that gorgeous square collar. And I always thought that was so hard when I first started sewing. So can I show you a really simple, fast way to do this? First of all, you're going to make a new pattern. This is off of your master pattern to begin with, and you're going to add enough in the center. You see that this says center front right here. You're going to add enough past that center front to give you a lapel. Now you can add anywhere from 2 inches, you can add 1.5 inches, you can add 2.5 inches. That's totally up to you. If you're not quite sure what you want to do, add 2 inches, you can always cut it off. Whatever you add to the front of this, you also want to make your facing the same way. Now the simplest way to make a facing is to use your pattern as your facing and then just cut this right in half, just like that. And this part becomes your facing. So you have 2 whole fronts and 2 whole facings. Simple to do. Now remember that French fuse. I love French fuse. I want to introduce you to something that I did not too long ago, and I absolutely love this garment. I'm a color freak. I love certain colors, and you can see this is a beautiful color on this dress form. This is 100% linen. You know what 100% linen does? Wrinkle. And I love the jacket. When I finished it, I thought it looked really good, and anytime I would move in it, it would wrinkle. And the reason I bought this color fabric was at a necklace to go with it. You know how we do. Got to have shoes and necklace to go, shoes and jewelry to go with the garment. So I found another piece of fabric, only this time it was a really soft knit. Now this knit fabric was the same color, so it was in the color family that I wanted it to be in. So this knit, what I did was I cut the 2 fronts and I cut the back, and what I did was I interfaced it. But when I interfaced it with French fuse this time, I did something a little bit different. I did 3 layers of French fuse on the front, 3 layers of French fuse on the back, 1 layer in the sleeve, and 2 layers in the facing of this jacket. So I have a lot of French fuse in this garment, but it has a very structured look to it, even though it's that really soft knit. Now I did one other thing. I have no neck. I just have no neck. So when I do a square collar, if I do a straight rectangle as the collar, which is what I tell you to do, what happens is it folds over in the back, and then I get this lapel look. You can see that's the lapel look. I didn't want that look. I wanted it to be nice and soft. So what I did with this collar is kind of like I do with Judy's favorite collar, and I think you can see it pretty well. Here's your rectangle. This was just a rectangle of fabric, but I cut it so that the back is much thinner than the sides of it. So let me fold this in half and show you. There's the back, and see how thin the back is, and there's the front. So it's much wider in the front. So this will not turn over at all. So you get a really nice soft look to this jacket, and I'll put this on in a minute and show you, but it's a really nice soft look in this jacket without having the lapels like you see it on the dress form. So let me give you some hints about doing a collar. First of all, when you make your collar, I've interfaced this. This is woven fabric, but I've interfaced it, and I just have the collar folded in half. So it's one big rectangle, okay? And then I measure the neck edge and make the collar according to the neck edge. And it is nothing more than a rectangle. And then I put a seam on either side. Now what I do is I cut that edge like this at an angle so I get rid of most of it. And then I cut the 2 sides, so you cut down the seam allowance. And when you turn this collar, if you will hold your thumb and your forefinger together like this and turn it, you're going to get a nice point to it. Now sometimes you have to push. Now you notice all that seam allowance was still in there on this collar. I love chopsticks, so all I have to do is to break these chopsticks apart like this, and I'm going to use the point to it. Don't use the point to your scissors because you'll poke an edge through it. So all you have to do is use the chopsticks, and they're not going to poke through your collar at all, and you'll wind up with a beautiful square collar. So real simple to do. Here's another hint when you put a square collar on. So you need to decide, here's my facing, you need to decide how much of a notch you want, and that is your notch. Let me show you. Let me put this forward just a bit. I'm going to lay it down in the center of here so you can see. That's your notch. That's your notch right there. That's what forms the lapel part of it. But here's the trick. When you put your collar and sandwich your collar between your facing and your garment, you want to pin that collar in place. But you want to do one more pin. You want to take that collar and make it straight with the edge, just like this. You see this is the edge of the jacket. You want to take that and you want to pin it. And here's the reason. Have you ever made a jacket ever in your life where one collar is up here and one collar is down there? The reason being is it wasn't held in place while it was being stitched. Things tend to shift as you sew them, so you must secure it. So if you will get in the habit of just making your collar go straight down, put a pin at the bottom of the collar, then when you stitch this on, you're not going to have any trouble whatsoever, and you will have a perfect square collar. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now it's time to check out the website. Everything is on there. You can purchase the pattern, the book, all the notions I talked about. You can join the Fit Club and check out the classes where I'm teaching. And be sure to follow me on Facebook.